Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. If you don't know who I am, my name is Callie and I love to read books a lot. I do quite a bit of picking my TBR, reading wrap-ups, reading vlogs, a little bit of everything, to be honest. And today I thought it would be fun if we read some of the more popular books in the book community and see what we thought of them, because I've seen some pretty mixed reviews. So let's go through the couple of books that are on my radar and see how many we can get through. The first one is Direbound by Sewell Sorensen. All I know is we have bonded direwolves. This is a book I don't really want to know too much about before I start it because I think that's the best way to experience it. It does say only the worthy survive. She'll risk everything to be one of them. Another book I've seen absolutely everywhere is On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin. And I know this has dragons and vampires. I know we're in an academy setting and everyone has been raving about this book. And either they love it or there's a couple people that absolutely don't. So I would love to see what my opinion of it is. I've also seen a ton about Happy Place by Emily Henry. Now, I haven't read an Emily Henry book yet, so I'm curious. I've seen a lot of good and a lot of negative about this book, and I'm curious, being someone who has never read one of her books before, what I'll think about it. So that one is definitely up there in something I would like to read. I know it follows two authors or two writers, and they are writing a story about this famous lady's life. I've also seen so many mixed reviews about Silver Elite by Danny Francis. Tons of people compare it to Hunger Games and Divergent, and I don't even remember the third thing that they compare it to. And then I've seen some people say that it is nothing like that. You can't compare them. So I'm interested to read this and see for myself. I know it's a dystopian fantasy. And at the end of the day, I love dystopian books. I also just realized I said Happy Place by Emily Henry and I meant A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I wouldn't say this is the last one, but probably one of the biggest ones that I've seen mixed reviews about is A Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. Devney Perry is a contemporary romance author. I could be wrong, but I believe she writes some Western romances, at least that I've seen. And I've not read anything by her. But everyone is saying that she was made to write romantasy. So I'm excited to see what I think about that as well. I don't know if we'll get through all of these books or if we'll only get through a couple, but the one we will be starting with is Direbound by Sable Sorensen. This one I have just been so excited to read, and it's all because of the direwolves. So we are going to start our reading vlog off with this one. Okay, quick update. I read this book for about an hour last night. I'm 75 pages in, and let me tell you, I get why this book is so bingeable for so many people. The writing style is so to the point and easy. The world building is easy. Honestly, it's exactly what I look for in this type of book, and it's so, so good. I get it now. We're following Marin, and she takes care of her mentally ill mother. I'm not sure what she has yet. I don't know if it's going to be something like fantasy based or like real life mental illness type based. And she also has a younger sister who she takes care of. Their dad went off to war and he never came home. So she's taken on that financial responsibility. She does whatever she needs to do to make a little bit of extra money on the side, which for her means fighting. She's really good at fighting. So one night, her sister goes missing, and missing children have been a problem going on for years, and nobody can figure out where they're going. They're never seen again. So she decides that she's going to join the army or the military. She's going to join the military, get to the front lines, and find her sister because she's pretty sure the vampires took her. And the vampires have been at war with her kingdom for like hundreds of years. And they're kind of at a standstill because their kingdom has the bonded, and those bonded are bonded to direwolves. And that is so exciting to me. And these direwolves are massive, massive. They said a baby one is like the size of a horse, and they ride these things around. Oh my God. What I would give to bond a freaking direwolf. I think I would want one of those over a dragon, like 100%. So she joins the army only to find out that she's not being sent to the front lines. First, she's got to go through like I don't want to say ceremony or trial or I don't know what you would exactly call it, but she's got to go climb this mountain, make it up the mountain while there are other people trying to bond these dire wolves. You don't have a choice, by the way, you have to. So there's a very high chance that you could die before you get up that mountain. And there's like 1,000 people and only 100 dire wolves to bond. So that's where I'm at right now. Super interesting. I can't wait to see where this goes. This book is getting so good. I've made it to page 380 and things are starting to really go down pretty fast now. I will say that I have predicted quite a couple things that have happened already. So I don't know if that was meant to be predicted or if I just wasn't fooled. But either way, it's still good. I love seeing the training process. I love being in like the pack mentality of the wolves. And it's just all very interesting. I love it. I'm going to keep reading and I don't know, probably won't finish it tonight. I'll probably finish it maybe tomorrow, but this is getting really good. Guys, I am so disappointed. Okay, so last night I had such high hopes, right? And at that point, I was a little about halfway through. And I mean, I'd had thoughts and theories about the book and what was going on, but I was hoping it would take a turn and surprise me. And unfortunately, it didn't. I guessed every single thing that happened for the entire rest of the book, including the last 2 pages plot twist. And that, like, really affected the star rating for me. Did I still love it? Absolutely. I thought it was a great debut novel. There were a lot of things I liked about it, but I think it's extremely overhyped. And I think comparing it to books like Fourth Wing and Game of Thrones and Hunger Games does this book such a disservice because those are pretty epic books. It sets the standard really high. And I don't think that book hits those standards. It is very difficult to hit those standards, in my opinion. But I did like the dire wolves. I do like the animal companions. I like the pack mentality and everything going on with that. Our FMC annoyed the crap out of me with her decisions, but I do understand why she made them. But really, what carried the entire book was the dire wolves and Stark. Stark is everything. I really hope they don't change his personality in book 2 because he is broody and grumpy and he's just delicious as is. He's this big, tough guy, and I really hope he doesn't turn into like, I don't want to see him being like soft. I don't know. I don't know. He carried the book with the direwolves. With that being said, like I said, I did enjoy it. It was a good time. It was just way too predictable. I think I had way too high of an expectation for this book. I need to start going into things and not watching people's stuff on Book Talk. That's what it comes down to. For our next book, that kind of leaves me with two options. I don't want to jump into On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin because there were vampires in this book, and I don't want to jump into another vampire book right now. So that leaves us with Silver Elite by Danny Francis. The back of it says, "My name is Ren Darlington. I've been hiding who I am my entire life. Today will be no different. Psychic gifts are a death sentence, and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone. And whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy." And honestly, oh, that sounds good. That sounds really good, actually. The other book is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And I know that's a very controversial book, but I've never read an Emily Henry book, and I'm curious if I will love it or feel differently because I don't know this author yet. And I thought this was going to be a harder choice, but I just read I just read that little blurb from Silver Elite, and I think that's what we're going with. Silver Elite's going to be the book that we start next. So I'm going to spend the rest of my day reading this book. See how far we get. I'll bring you back with an Guys, since the last time I spoke with you, this is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I have not stopped reading. I have not put this book down once. I'm on page 230 already of like 500, so I'm almost halfway done. I thought the last book was addicting. This one takes the cake. This one deserves the hype. Again, I don't think we should be comparing it to some of the other books. What is this? Like, they compared this to maybe Divergent or something like that. And you do get those vibes. I can understand that. But I think so far, it does stand up to the hype everyone else was giving it. I have just come downstairs. I have an entire cheesecake. Oh, I have an entire cheesecake. But I'd like to say I'm only going to eat one piece, but I'm probably going to have more than that because I'm binging this book and I'm craving sweets for some reason. So, in this book, we're following Ren, and she is a mod. There are mods and there are primes. And mods have this special type of ability, and it can vary slightly, but they can all speak to each other mind to mind if they make that connection. And primes are just normal people. They don't have extra abilities. But when a mod is using their abilities, their veins on their arms glow blue. And that's how you can tell a mod from a prime. Our main character, Ren, for some reason, her veins don't turn blue. So you have no idea she's using her powers. That's basically all I'm going to say, because you need to experience this book as you go. It is so fantastic. I'm so obsessed with dystopian worlds to begin with. I might even finish it tonight. Like, I literally can't put it down. So yeah, I'm going to continue my book and stuff face with like a ton of cheesecake. Please tell me why I am slumping so hard and I haven't even finished the book yet. Excuse me if you can hear my dogs like chomping away on their bones. I literally, I'm on chapter 53. Let me say, I don't want to accidentally read something. I have like 2 chapters left. 2 or 3 chapters. I think it's 2 chapters. I have like 2 chapters left. And I'm already slumping. I've fallen in love with these characters. I'm anxious. Like, everything that's going on, like, I keep saying, like, everything that's going on, I semi-expected, but I kind of gaslit myself into believing that everything was going to be fine. This book was going to end on a cliffhanger I could deal with. And now I'm getting this feeling that it's not. And I'm upset and I don't want to finish the book. I'd rather just leave it. But we're going to buckle down and just finish these 2 chapters. I literally read 490 pages in less than 24 hours. That's how good this book is. If I thought the other book which was bingeable, that was a lie. I lied. This one is bingeable. It's so freaking good. I'm so upset. But let's get to it. Let's just read the last couple chapters of Silver Elite together. Wow. Wow. I need to process what I just read. This book is going to be going a different way than I thought it would. Wow. This is a great book. This was a fantastic book. It is a book that is going to make me keep thinking about it long after I'm done. I don't even know if I could start a book after this. I don't know. This is going to be difficult to follow up. I should have read, I probably should have read this last. Wow, I forgot how much I loved dystopian, like urban dystopian books. Holy crap, it's been a while since I've read something that has drawn me in so deeply, so quickly. That's this type of book. Because Dungeon Crawler Carl has done that, but that's a lit RPG. This is like an urban dystopian world, and it's so delicious. What a great book. This is a book everyone needs to experience for themselves. Holy crap. If you haven't read this yet, read it. Oh, I think I'm going to take some time and figure out like what I'm going to read next. I have no idea. I'm going to go process. That was a great book. I took the rest of the day and just chilled. I went on a walk. I listened to some of the next book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. And I don't know why, that just makes me feel better. It helps me de-stress. And yeah, so that's what I did for the rest of the day. I just got home and I wasn't sure what book we were going to do next. We just did Silver Elite and Direbound, and those were good. We've had a great time, but I think I was going to jump into Shield of Sparrows. I'm not ready for that right now. Not going to jump into another fantasy. Same thing with On Wings of Blood. We're just going to have to push that off a little bit because my brain needs a break. So I figured I would jump into Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. It says, one story to tell, two writers trying to tell it, an ending to beat them all. Excited to see if I feel the same way as most people do about this book. I know there's a lot of controversy on it and a lot of people disliked it. But because I've never read any of her books, I don't know, maybe I'll feel different. And I kind of like to give a book a chance to just like, I don't know, just not, I guess not to judge the book based off what everyone else is saying. Because listen, we just read some two crazily hyped up books. One of them is completely overhyped. The other one I think deserved the hype. So we'll see. Also, I like these edges. I just think it's so pretty. I'm going to go take a shower. I just got home from a baseball game where I was in the rain. My hair's a little crazy at the moment. I'm going to go do that, get ready for bed, and start this book. I didn't stay up too long last night. I didn't get too far into this book. I'm about 62 pages in to Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And so far, I think it's cute. I think it's not reading like a romance. It's reading more like a literary fiction. And I've recently started getting into literary fiction, so I'm enjoying it so far. You have two writers. One of them has like a well-known book out, and the other, I don't know, works for like some type of website or journalism or something like that. And they both get picked to possibly work with this very well-known, famous lady. I'm not really sure who she is or why she's famous, but she was famous back in the day and then she disappeared and nobody knows where she was. So these two have tracked her down and they both want to write her book, her story, and let everyone know from her perspective what went on throughout her life. So she lets them know that she likes both of their ideas and she wants to give them a month-long trial. She will get to know each of them, and at the end of 30 days, she will read what both of them have written so far and decide who to move forward with. I think it's a very interesting concept. It's nothing like crazy so far. It's not something that is sucking me in and making me need to like not put this book down. But I would say it is good and I am enjoying it. And I do so far like the grumpy male character and like the super bubbly female character. I think they're very funny. Yeah, that's really all I got so far. I mean, I know most people have liked the beginning and they just couldn't take it a little bit further on. So I guess we'll see how we feel in a little bit. I'll bring you back for an update. I was up all night last night. And by all night, I mean like 11 o'clock, which is late for me nowadays. Okay. And I finished Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Let me just start off by saying I'm so glad I read this for myself and didn't listen to all the horrible reviews I've been hearing lately. Did I read the same book? I don't know because I love this. I ate this up. This is just one big, messy, chaotic, beautiful story about life and what it is to be human. We make mistakes, we push through, we learn lessons, we make more mistakes. Like nobody's perfect. And there was just something about this book that made me look deeper into my own life. I really appreciated Emily's writing style. I loved the story within a story. This read actually a little bit more like a general fiction than a romance. I would say there's like maybe 20% romance, like a subplot. And like the majority of this story, you're actually learning about Margaret, who is one of the main characters. I would consider her a main character, but she's who the main characters are interviewing. And we're finding out things about her entire life. She was born into an extremely wealthy family and she didn't need to work at all for that money. They had enough money to where like she doesn't need to work a day in her life. She becomes like a socialite. So she's always in the news. She's the girl that likes the attention and there's reasons for that though. And that's part of what we get into in this story. And then the romance, I actually thought the romance was pretty cute. I thought it was very quirky and sweet and it wasn't what typical romances are. This wasn't all witty banter and giggling and kicking your feet type of romance. This was two people getting to know each other, like genuinely getting to know each other, not just, hey, I'm attracted to you. They were talking about their families and some of the reasons behind why they are the way they are, things that they liked, why they didn't like certain things. And I just thought it was very heartwarming. Heartwarming, honestly. I know I've seen some people say that the romance was so quick and they fell in love too quickly, and that didn't bother me. Normally, that would bother me in a lot of books. That did not bother me here because to me, and maybe this is just a personal preference, and I understand it because to me, that's how I am. I just felt like these people, they found their person. And when you find your person, nothing holds you back. That's what I took out of it. And it was just beautiful. I loved it. I loved our main characters together. I loved the twist at the end of this book. I thought it was awesome. Don't listen to everything everyone else says because this is a perfect example that reading is subjective and just because somebody else didn't like it doesn't mean you won't love it because I loved this book. This is my first Emily Henry book and I'm excited to pick up the rest of them. She has such an amazing writing style. I think this is the perfect place to end our little reading vlog. And let's see, what did we read? Let me see, it's been a little bit. So we read Direbound by Sable Sorensen, Silver Elite by Danny Francis, and Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And I would say the whole point of this video was, were these books worth the hype that they're getting? Direbound, I think, is overhyped purely because it is too often referenced to big name books like Fourth Wing and Game of Thrones. And I think that gives you a certain expectation when you're going into this book, and it's very difficult to live up to that expectation. How do you live up to Game of Thrones and Fourth Wing? They stand on their own. They set themselves apart. I actually would have loved this book more if it had not been compared to those, because I would not have given, or I would not have had such a high expectation, and it wouldn't have fallen short. You know what I mean? However, I did really enjoy this book. I thought it was a great debut novel, and I'm looking forward to the next two books. And now that I know what my expectations are, maybe I will love those even better. I still would say, yes, read this book. Just don't go into it with those expectations that I did. Silver Elite by Danny Francis absolutely deserves the hype, but disclaimer, it is not a huge dystopian world. It is a romance set in a dystopian world. So you are not getting like an in-depth view of what went on before. Really not too much dystopian world building into the politics and what's going on. You're focused on the romance in that, and it's still good. Just know that that's what you're going into, or that's what you're getting when you go into this book. I'm hoping book 2 actually fills in some of the holes for me, because this was great. I read this in less than 24 hours. And last but not least, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I say give it a try. If you read the synopsis of this book and it sounds interesting to you, don't listen to all the hate. I enjoyed this. I thought the hype was good for the book that it was. So yeah, if you guys read any of these books, what did you think about them? Did you think they were overhyped, underhyped, appropriately hyped? Did you love them? Did you not? I think that's the most interesting part about what this little experiment was for me, is I loved that I thought differently about some of these books than the majority of people I've been seeing talk about that. So I thought that was cool and it was fun. So yeah, we will end this reading vlog here and see where our next one takes us. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and I will see you in the next one.